Hi guys, welcome back to this channel, and today we will be making a veggie basket that's kind of similar to the fruit basket. If you haven't seen the fruit basket yet, go down in the descriptions and you can see it. Well, let's just get on with the video. Some tools you may need and things you may need are different shades of purple, brown. We're using metallic, but you can use any type of brown you want. Red, orange, yellow, peach, and all different shades of green. Some tools you will need are a super pointy edge tool, a round edge tool, and also a super pointy tool, a thing that's kind of like a knife, but it's not that sharp, and this tool. You'll need a few silicone tips, like these, and different sizes of ballpoint tips. Also, have a mold. We're using a tinfoil mold. And also, you need pastels and a paintbrush. So let's just get on with the video. So you can go down in the description to the fruit basket video and you'll see how to make the tinfoil mold. Well, let's just teach you how to make the basket. So grab your peach clay and roll it into a snake that's not too thin or too thick. Make sure that everything is pretty even, so one place isn't too thin or one place isn't too thick. Take the long peach snake and cut it to an appropriate length. Then start out a corner and start working your way around. Make sure that you don't pull too hard or else the snake will break. Take the rest of your peach, if you have any, but if you don't, then make some more. We accidentally made ours a little bit more orange, but that's okay because no one will be paying that much attention to the bottom of the basket. And then just start snaking it around like how it's shown. Now we're making the tomato. First, take your red clay and split it in half. Set the other half aside and we'll start working with the other half. Then split that into another half. And take your green and pinch off a little piece. And put the big piece away for a bit. Now take your green and split it in half, just like you did to the red. Take one of the halves and roll it into a ball. Do that to the other. Then use a ballpoint tip and make a hole in the middle. To make it look a bit more like a tomato, you can press it down with your finger. And take the piece of clay that you split in half and roll it into a ball. And then repeat that to the other. Then press them down flat. the knife-like tool and cut around the edges in a triangular shape to make it look like a star. Pinch the edges to make it look more pointy. Then you should end up with a 4-pointed star. You can use the knife-like tool to make it look a bit better. Then take a ballpoint tool and make a hole in the center. Peel it off and attach it to the red balls. Repeat. And then take a bit of leftover clay and roll it into a ball and then attach it to your tomato. Do the same to the other green clay. Make sure that your 4-pointed star has an even amount on all 4 points, or else it's gonna look really weird if one point has a lot of clay and the other 3 don't have much clay on them. And then use your ballpoint tip and make a hole in the middle and then attach it to your tomato. Then add a little stem with a small rolled up piece of green clay. In the end, you should get something that looks kind of like a tomato. Take a light green and a normal green and pinch off half of the normal green and set aside. Do the same to the other. And then take a bit of your dark green clay pinch off half from the normal green clay and then pinch that half into a half again. Split the light green clay into 4 pieces that are about equal. Then use your dark green clay and split it into 3 pieces. Roll up your normal green pieces into balls. And make the pieces of light green into snakes. And then make them and cut the snake into 3 pieces and connect them together at the ends. Repeat that to the other 3 pieces. It's okay if all of your 3 pieces aren't that even, because it'll look more natural that way. Then attach all of the dots to the stems. Once you've done that to the other stem, use your ballpoint tool and start texturing. This will make it look more realistic and it'll have more detail in it. Don't make too much or it's gonna look really crowded and it won't look that natural. In the end, it should look something like this. Use a silicone tip and smooth the ends. This will make it look more neat and it'll look better. In the end, you should get something like this that looks kind of like broccoli. Now we're making the lettuce. Take your normal green clay and split it into thirds. Then use a lighter green clay and also split that into thirds. Roll up your normal green clay into a ball and then pinch around the edges and then flatten out. It should turn out something like a big leaf. Repeat that to your other normal green clay. Use your light green clay and pinch off most of it and then roll it into a thick snake and then pinch the edge and then make it into a raindrop shape. Then attach the rounder edge to the pointier edge of the dark green clay. Use the excess clay that we pinched off and roll it into a thin line. Use the knife-like tool and cut it. And then take the cut piece of clay and attach it to the raindrop shape on the green leaf. The pointy edge tool makes it easier to cut. Repeat that to the rest of the line. Make sure to do it on both sides. Use your silicone tool and smoothen out the parts that don't have the white lettuce lines. Peel it off with your fingers and start making it wavy. This will make it look more like lettuce. Repeat that to all of the other lettuce leaves. Use your silicone tool and make small dents where the lettuce lines aren't there. Then use your finger and peel all the lettuce off your working space and start making the edges wavy. This will make it look more like lettuce. Repeat that to your other 2 leaves. Now make another lettuce leaf, but instead of using the normal green for the outside, use dark purple. And instead of using this light green, use a light purple. This will become your purple cabbage. Take your dark purple and split in half. Then roll it into a ball and make it a bit longer, but make one end a bit smaller than the other end. Then add a little bit of curve by bending it. Repeat it to the other. Then get a green and pinch off a piece, actually 2 pieces, and take off a bit from the piece that you pinched off. Then roll the bigger piece into a ball and squash it down flat. Then use the knife-like tool and start making cuts around the edge. Peel it off and use your hands to pinch the corners to make it look more eggplant-ish. Then attach it to the smaller part of the end. Use a small bit and roll it into a small snake and then attach it to the leaf. Do the same to your other eggplant. In the end, you should get something like this. This will be your eggplant. Now we're making a small pumpkin. First, take your orange and roll it into a ball. Use your knife-like tool and make dents to make the pumpkin have texture. Make sure that the space between the lines are even. You don't have to make them perfectly even, but just try your best. Use your biggest ballpoint tool you have and make a hole in the middle. Use a silicone tool to smoothen out the clay around the hole that you just made. Then also use your silicone tool to make the lines deeper and make them stand out more. Use your green and pinch off a piece and roll it in a ball. Then press it down flat and use your knife-like tool to make small cuts around the edges, and then pinch the sides to make it look kind of like a star. Then attach it to your pumpkin. Grab another small piece and stick it on top to make a stem. In the end, you should get something like this. We made another pumpkin, so we would have 2 pumpkins in the basket. We mixed our orange and a bit of red to make this darker orange. Then split your orange into thirds. Roll out one piece into a ball and then make a really thick snake and then pinch one end to make it pointier than the other end. Repeat that to all of your other pieces. Then use a silicone tool and start making dents along your carrot. Take your green and split it into thirds. Take one piece and roll it into a circle and then press it flat, or you can use your tool handle and roll it out. Pinch the middle and you see the edges will start folding. You can make the folds look better with your hands. And you can use your ballpoint tool to make the folds look bigger. And you should end up with something like this. Then attach it to your carrot. Repeat that to the other 2. You should end up with something that looks like this. If you want, you can attach them together and it can look like this. We mixed our dark green and our normal green to make this color. Split it in half and roll out one half into a ball and roll it into a snake. Make sure that it's thick so it is stable. And it also looks more cucumber this way. Take another piece of green and pinch off 2 pieces. Make the pieces stems And if you want, you can use your silicone tip to make texture on your cucumber. If you think the texture is too obvious, you can roll it on your working surface to make them not pop out as much. Then you should end up with something that kind of looks like cucumber. Take your red and split it in half. Then roll out one piece into a shape like the eggplant, but make it more thin. Repeat that to the other piece. Also add a bit of curve to it. Take your dark green and pinch off 2 pieces. Roll out the 2 pieces and press them down flat. Use your knife-like tool to make little cuts along the edges. Then pinch the edges. Use your ballpoint tool to make a hole in the center. Then attach it to the top of your chili peppers, which are the thicker side. Repeat that to the other piece of dark green. If you want, you can skip the cutting part. You also don't need to poke a hole in it. But then take another piece of dark green and roll it into a snake and attach it to the leaf of your chili pepper. These will become stems. You should end up with something that looks like this. We made bell peppers, but we just did the same thing as a pumpkin, except we only added indents on the top and on the bottom. And we also didn't add the leaves. We thought this made it look a bit more like bell peppers. And we also used yellow instead of orange. Now we are putting everything in the basket. First, take your carrots and lean them against one corner. Then take your lettuce and purple cabbage and lean them against the side next to the carrot. You can also put the purple cabbage there. Take your cucumber and lean it against the lettuce. Then take your chili peppers and stick them in between the space between the carrot and the cucumber. Then take your bell peppers and stick them against the cucumber, and also take your eggplant and put it underneath the bell pepper for support. Take your tomato and put it on top of the eggplant. And take your 2 pumpkins and lean them against one side, and also put your broccoli right next to them. Then put your last tomato in between the space on the broccoli. We were just making the bell peppers stick out a bit more because the broccoli was covering it. And this is how it should turn out. This part is optional, but we made a bow. And if you want to make a bow, go down in the descriptions and watch our fruit basket video, and it'll show you how to make a bow. This is our final result. Then bake according to package instructions.